Chapter 431. Chase and Kill. Kill me. Are you able to? Flames of fury were surging in Deng Hua's eyes. He was a genuine heaven-defying expert. Even faced with an ordinary lord, he was able and prepared to fight with his strength. In the entire flaming battlefield, with no lord at present, who dared to think about killing him? Even the three heaven-defying experts at the Drifting Blood Marquis side did not dare to say that. But now, Jian Wushuang wanted to kill him? You'll know whether I am able to immediately. Jian Wushuang did not say too much. With the blood river suppression, the blood puppet had rushed in front of Deng Hua as soon as possible. When the blood puppet's fist attacked him again, Deng Hua's mouth corners twitched a little, but he had to defend with his full strength. With a huge bang, Deng Hua was forced backward by several steps. Before he obtained his balance again, however, a shadow turned up in front of him. An icy cold sword light, with a decisive and desperate intent, violently thrust at his head. Deng Hua's face turned pale. He immediately wielded his saber, which collided against the icy cold sword light. And then, the counterforce quickly generated a distance between the two. This boy. Deng Hua looked at Jian Wushuang with fear. His spiritual power was running out. In such a short period, it has almost recovered. How could that happen? Deng Hua was stunned. However, he did not know that Jian Wushuang had cultivated heavenly creation skill, which was originally in defiance of the natural order. Not only was his spiritual power recovery speed very high, but his elixir absorption speed was also very frightening. For elixir or spiritual liquid that could slowly enhance spiritual power, other warriors needed a long time to absorb them, but Jian Wushuang could absorb them much faster with the heavenly creation skill. He had just swallowed elixir to recover his spiritual power. Naturally, the effect of the elixir was quickly absorbed, so in a short instant, much of his spiritual power had been recovered. Damn! Deng Hua had an uneasy expression. The blood puppet and Jian Wushuang were fighting. The worst scene appeared in front of Deng Hua. Run! Without any hesitation, Deng Hua turned around and violently rushed out of the cave mansion. Go! The killing intent was surging in Jian Wushuang's eyes. The triple kill sword in his hand was vibrating like crazy as he chased with the blood puppet. Outside the Jiaxia cave mansion, the fierce battle between the two camps was still going on and had turned white hot. The situation was very horrifying. In the Drifting Blood Marquis camp of the two camps, He Yunchong was the weakest one and had been slaughtered. Besides, Zhu Hua, an invited top expert of Stage 3, had also been slaughtered. Hence, 2 people had died. In the Pale Moon Marquis camp, except for the green-clothed elder who was killed by Jian Wushuang, another top expert of Stage 3 had died. Besides, 2 people were heavily hurt. This fierce battle was still in a deadlock. When fighting against Bone King, Duotian Marquis glanced at the entry of the cave mansion below from time to time. All the experts of the Drifting Blood Marquis camp are fighting against us here, so there should be an expert deploying the formation as well as swordsmen in the cave mansion. It should be very easy for Master Deng Hua to kill them with his strength. Why haven't I seen him come out yet? Duotian Marquis and the other experts from the Pale Moon Marquis camp had full confidence in Deng Hua's strength. In the entire flaming battlefield, with no lord at present, Deng Hua, the heaven-defying expert, was invincible. Bone King and the others were very worried. The situation here is stabilized. Now the key lies in the cave mansion. I am not sure whether Swordsman can pin down Deng Hua. Bone King thought. He did not expect Jian Wushuang to rival Deng Hua. He just hoped Jian Wushuang could pin down the latter, so that Lady Red would have a chance to deploy the formation. But right at this moment, bang! A huge roar was heard from the cave mansion below, followed by a figure who violently shot out like a cannonball. His emerged. The battling experts from the 2 camps looked over across the void. It was seen that a figure was rapidly retreating. Obviously, that man had been forced out of the cave mansion. After he was able to stand steadily, his old face became apparent with bloodstains at the corners of his mouth. This is Master Deng Hua? Having clearly seen the face, the experts from the Pale Moon Marquis camp could not help but feel shocked. Suddenly, from inside that cave mansion, 2 figures, one after another, quickly rushed out. The figure in front was scarlet, and appeared extremely strong. He directly rushed towards Deng He like an ancient fierce beast. Then, a fist with the strength of billions of tons, with terrifying power surging inside it, directly struck out at Deng He. Deng He was aware how terrifying that scarlet figure was, so he did not dare to resist. His figure dodged and violently retreated. Bang! The tremendous fist was struck the empty space, but power still exploded and shook the entire sky and earth. This then penetrated the void and passed to the ground below. Immediately, the ground was lifted into the air. Dust was flying everywhere. A huge pit covering hundreds of meters, as deep as 10 meters, appeared. Deng He, who had just evaded the punch of the blood puppet and seen the power of that punch, was not even able to feel lucky before an icy cold sword shadow, like lightning, violently flashed towards his head with decisive killing intent. It was still that sword. It was Jian Wushuang's strongest unique skill. Damn it! Deng He cursed in his mind. He dared not fend off the blood puppet's attacks. Jiang Wushuang's strongest sword skill, however, was also of unusual power. He could easily fend it off in normal combat, but just now he had just escaped from the blood puppet's attack, with no time to use proper techniques to fend it off. He had to move aside in a ferocious struggle. The lightning-like sword shadow penetrated the void beside Deng He's body and directly hit the cliff of the mountain behind them. The mountain was utterly penetrated, showing a spiral cave. Having seen the power of the sword, Deng He's face could not help but twitch a little. His body crazily rushed out. With cold eyes, Jian Wushuang did not intend to let Deng He go. With the help of the Blood River realm, he rushed out to chase Deng He. Quickly, Jian Wushuang, the blood puppet, and Deng He disappeared into the distant horizon. In the void outside the Jiaoxia cave mansion, everyone was stunned. The experts from both the Drifting Blood Marquis camp and the Pale Moon Marquis camp were all stunned. Deng He, Master Deng He, is running away and being pursued? He is fleeing. How could it be possible? Deng He, the super expert at the heaven-defying level, the absolute invincible being at the Saint Realm, was fleeing? What's more, they had seen clearly that the man who was chasing Deng He was Jian Wushuang, together with a puppet fighter of terrifying strength. Stunned. Everyone was stunned. Chapter 432. Deng He, You Cannot Escape. Swordsman. Bone King, Shui Yang, and Beast were astonished and looked at him with widened eyes. Before that, they had just hoped that Jian Wushuang could pin down Deng He, so that Lady Red would be able to deploy the formation. They had never expected anything else. But now, what had they seen? Jian Wushuang was chasing Deng He. Yes, he was chasing. What's more, whether Deng He could escape was unclear. Swordsman wants to kill Deng He? Even thinking of this possibility was breathtaking for everyone. Deng He was a heaven-defying expert. In the entire flaming battlefield, with no lord at present, he was definitely invincible. There had been so many battles at the flaming battlefield. When had a heaven-defying expert been pursued? Today's pursuit was definitely the first time. The flaming battlefield stretched across 8 million kilometers and was very vast. The outer area alone was incomparably vast. The experts from the two big camps, i.e. the groups formed by numerous experts of Stage 2, were fiercely fighting in the outer area. At this moment, just in the vast void of the outer area, two small teams were fiercely battling. Kill. Send them to hell. Their battle was extremely intense. At this moment, however, from the distant horizon, a huge blood river was fast floating towards them. Deng He, you cannot escape. A cold voice resounded throughout the sky, making the two teams, who were in a fierce battle, stop fighting. Many pairs of eyes began to look over at the blood river. Deng He? Which Deng He? All the experts from the small team of the Pale Moon Marquis camp were somewhat astounded. However, very soon, they saw the white-robed elder, who was crazily fleeing in front of the blood river. The aura sent out by the white-robed elder made everyone tremble. The experts of the small team from the Pale Moon Marquis camp immediately recognized the white-robed elder. Master Deng He. That is Master Deng He. The invincible Master Deng He. one of the 3 heaven-defying level experts in our Pale Moon Marquis camp. One scream after another was heard, astonishing the experts of the small team from the Drifting Blood Marquis camp. They were not very familiar with Deng Hui, but hearing heaven-defying level was enough to astonish them. Yet, the scene in front of them shocked everyone. Master Deng Hui is being pursued? How could this be possible? It's impossible. The experts of the small team from the Pale Moon Marquis camp gave one exclamation after another to express their shock. Hurry up! Let's follow them. The expert team from the Drifting Blood Marquis camp were extremely excited. They stopped the battle at once. Both teams followed them simultaneously. Actually, the commotion of Jian Wushuang chasing Deng Hui was very disruptive. He had been chasing for tens of thousands miles from the Jiaosha cave mansion. The expert teams they had come across were far more than just these 2. Yet, everyone was shocked by this scene. Many teams wanted to follow, but unfortunately, they could not catch up with their speed. In the midst of the Blood River, Deng Hui's face was extremely gloomy. His aura had weakened a lot. There was no way out for him. Trapped in the Blood River, his speed was limited. However, Jian Wushuang and that blood puppet, who were originally very fast, were faster than him with the assistance of the Blood River, and caught up very quickly. Every time after they caught up, he would try his best to fend them off, and then using the counterforce to generate some distance. Over and over, his wounds were adding up, and he could not repeat it anymore. With this Blood River, I can't escape. If it continues like this, I'll really die here. I have no other choice but can only use that. Deng Hui grit his teeth tightly. In his eyes, there was a strong sense of unwillingness. Suddenly, Deng Hui stopped and turned around. Stopped running away? Jian Wushuang and the blood puppet also stopped. The former shot a glance at the latter, and nodded quietly. From the start of the attack till now, a quarter of an hour had passed, but the blood puppet still had some residual strength. Consuming 1 blood gem can only support the blood puppet for half a quarter. Now, I have spent 3 blood gems, not only making it more powerful, but also making it last longer. Jian Wushuang thought secretly. In the Blood River, Deng Hui looked a mess and was staring at Jian Wushuang with beast-like eyes. Swordsman! Deng Hui shouted. Near the Blood River, a lot of expert teams from the 2 big camps had caught up, observing the scene. When they heard Swordsman, a commotion was raised. Swordsman? The man chasing Deng Hui is called Swordsman? I know about this Swordsman. It's heard that he has just arrived in the inner area recently. It's said that he owns an extremely powerful realm technique, but his own strength is not very strong. But now, it seems the hearsay is wrong. His battle strength is terrifying. The scarlet figure beside him should be a puppet fighter. It is so strong. The swordsman does not only possess powerful strength and realm, but also has an awesome puppet fighter. He is so terrifying. Master Deng Hui has stopped running. He knows he has nowhere to go and plans to wage a life-and-death battle. The followed experts nearby were discussing in low voices. Swordsman. Deng Hui stared at Jian Wushuang with killing intent flashing in his eyes. I admit, I lose this time. Don't be smug. What has happened today will be doubled upon you when we meet next time. Next time? Jian Wushuang slightly narrowed his eyes. This Deng Hui had been forced into such a position. He wanted next time? What? You really think you can kill me? Deng Hui sneered scornfully, and then turned his hand upside down. A token appeared in his hand, with a strange wave in it. That wave was very familiar to Jian Wushuang. It was similar to a wormhole. That is. Jian Wushuang stared at the token in Deng Hui's hand. Deng Hui was also staring at the token in his hand, unwilling to give it up. This transfer slip is the most valuable treasure I have after so many adventures in cave mansions. After so many years, no one has ever forced me to use this token, but you. Swordsman. You are a nobody. I have never heard of you before. Today's battle, however, will become your stepping stone. Very soon, your name will spread across the entire flaming battlefield. Yet, I'll find you very quickly. And then, I'll slaughter you by myself. Chapter 433. There is no next time. Deng Hua's words were sonorous and forceful, with towering killing intent. The numerous experts hiding nearby couldn't help but change their countenance. I thought Master Deng Hua knew he had nowhere to go, so decided to wage a life-and-death battle with Swordsman. But now, it's not like that at all. Master Deng Hua is really a heaven-defying expert. He has so many measures. He even owns a transfer slip. It's a transfer slip. This is equivalent to a life. Such a treasure is of extraordinary value. I'm afraid Master Deng Hua will feel awful that he had to use it. This Master Swordsman could force Master Deng Hua to escape with a transfer slip. He really has marvelous skills. Many of the experts were gasping in admiration. Transfer slip? Jian Wushuang's pupil slightly shrank. He had heard about transfer slips. Its nature was similar to that of the space travel spell, both of which could be used to transfer people across space. However, the transfer slip was far more valuable than the space travel spell. The space travel spell could only connect two fixed spaces, with one wormhole as the center and the token as one junction. When transferring with the space travel spell, people could only be transferred to that wormhole, and at the other side of the wormhole some preparation was needed. Besides, even if using the space travel spell, the formation of the wormhole needed some time. Hence, at the crucial moment of life and death, the space travel spell would not be useful. After all, at the moment of life and death, you would have no time to wait for the slow formation of the wormhole. Besides, the connection between spaces was not steady enough. A random attack from the opponent would utterly destroy the wormhole. Therefore, the space travel spell was generally used for long-distance travel only. However, a transfer slip was different. The token itself was the center, and a wormhole would be quickly formed around the token. Then, the owner of the token could freely transfer to any place within range through the wormhole. It was equivalent to direct teleportation. In terms of escaping at the crucial moment, it was absolutely the best life-saving treasure. A transfer slip was extremely valuable. In the treasure vault of the Drifting Blood Marquis camp, there had never been such a treasure as a transfer slip. After being stared at by Jian Wushuang, Deng Hua, who was trapped in the Blood River and had nowhere to go, directly crushed the transfer slip in his hand. When the token was crushed, a strange space wave immediately rippled out. In the center of the Blood River, beside Deng Hua, a complete wormhole quickly appeared. It was so fast and so steady that Jian Wushuang could not prevent it even though he wanted to. Swordsman, very soon, we'll meet again. Deng Hua's voice was cold. After which, he stepped slowly into the wormhole. Next time? A cold smile appeared at the corners of Jian Wushuang's mouth. There is no next time. The chilly voice echoed between heaven and earth. Deng Hua, who was going to step into the wormhole, shot a glance at Jian Wushuang unconsciously, but found the latter's face had turned red with a sense of madness flashing in his eyes. Azura secret skill, the third move, 18 levels of hell. Boom! The blood river roared. Above the blood river, a blood cloud swirled, forming a huge vortex. In the vortex, there was an 18-floor scarlet pavilion. Slowly descending. Inside the pavilion, some ghost shadows were faintly visible, crazily screaming and roaring until the scarlet pavilion completely landed. The scarlet pavilion directly pressed upon Deng Hua's body. Buzzing. A blast of invisible waves spread out. Jian Wushuang had displayed the 18 levels of hell only once when he was desperate. At that time, he had to display it with the soul-devouring secret skill as well as the power of elixir and blood essence. Even though his strength had risen by several levels now, using this technique was still very difficult. At this moment, the use of this technique had utilized all his residual spiritual power and forced him to swallow several elixirs again. Only then could this technique be used. The power of this technique was incredible. When the Scarlet Pavilion landed and pressed upon Deng Hua, his pupils suddenly shrank with fear and astonishment. The 18 levels of hell were completely different from the road to the underworld and the bridge of helplessness. What was most terrifying in the 18 level of hell was the incredible deterrence, which directly targeted a person's consciousness and could trap someone forcefully. Like now, under this huge pressure, Deng Hua's consciousness seized up, and he was unable to step into the wormhole. Just like a fool, he stood there, looking absent-minded. The pause was very brief and fleeting. To an ordinary people, Such a pause meant nothing. However, for someone with Jian Wushuang's strength, this brief pause was crucial. Blood puppet! Kill him! Jian Wushuang angrily shouted. The blood puppet beside him immediately rushed out and appeared in front of Deng Hui in an instant. It punched at Deng Hui's head. After a brief pause, Deng Hui's consciousness recovered, just to find the blood puppet in front of him. At that moment, the latter's fist was only half a centimeter from his face. At such a close distance, Deng Hui was utterly unable to react. No! With a shrill roar, Deng Hui's head completely exploded, and he died. Before his death, one of his feet had already stepped into that wormhole, just leaving his body outside, but finally, he would never step into it. It was silent. The entire heaven and earth became silent at this moment. The experts from the small teams, who were watching in the void, were all astounded. He is dead. Deng Hui is dead. Deng Hui, the super expert at the heaven-defying level, the invincible expert of the flaming battlefield, has been killed. He took out his transfer slip, but at the very last moment, he was unable to escape. The atmosphere was electric. The entire crowd was shocked. Totally incredible. What on earth was Swordsman's last technique? What a terrifying technique. Did you see it? Deng Hui was made into a fool by that technique. He could not move even a little, and the puppet fighter killed him. Too strong. Swordsman is too strong. Everyone was terrified, and the crowd was boiling with excitement. In the flaming battlefield, there were countless deaths. The fall of an expert was usually an ordinary matter. However, the fallen expert this time was Deng Hui, one of the 3 heaven-defying experts of the Pale Moon Marquis camp. In the flaming battlefield, with no lord at present, the heaven-defying experts were invincible, and that was acknowledged to all. In the thousands of years of battle in the flaming battlefield, there had been some heaven-defying experts killed, but they were all killed by lords. But today, the man who had killed Deng Hui, the heaven-defying expert, was at the Saint Realm. His name was Jian Wushuang. Chapter 434, Made a Killing. Buzz. The Scarlet Pavilion dissipated slowly, as did the mighty Blood River. The blood puppet powered off and remained motionlessly suspended there. Everything finally quieted down. Jian Wushuang looked pale. He went to Deng Hui's corpse, took the white-robed elder's interspatial ring, and started binding the ring to himself. It took me a lot of energy and 3 blood gems to kill him. I hope his interspatial ring won't disappoint me. Jian Wushuang thought with expectation. As he checked the ring, many treasures began to appear before his eyes. After a while, his eyes sparked with surprise and joy. Fantastic! He is worthy of being a heaven-defying level expert. Jian Wushuang spoke. He had never seen such a valuable ring that held so many treasures. There were hundreds of thousands of raw gems, lots of natural treasures, elixirs, magic weapons, manuals, and some treasures even Jian Wushuang could not identify. There were 2 treasures that delighted him the most. The first one was a heaven-breaking elixir. This elixir had the same function as the Saint Breakthrough elixir. It could greatly increase the probability of an expert at the pinnacle of the Saint realm making a breakthrough to the Cloud realm. Like experts at the peak of the Yang Void realm or half-Saint level, who desired Saint Breakthrough elixirs, many Saint realm experts often yearned for heaven-breaking elixirs. A large number of experts at Stage 3 or the peak of Stage 3 would go mad for this elixir. He prepared a heaven-breaking elixir. It seems Deng Hui intended to make a breakthrough. It's pity that he was killed before his breakthrough, Jian Wushuang said with a faint smile. The heaven-breaking elixir was very useful to him. He would use this elixir for his breakthrough. The second treasure that amazed Jian Wushuang was a token. The token looked the same as the transfer slip that Deng Hui had wanted to use to escape. It was another transfer slip. It is a second transfer slip. Jian Wushuang could not help but sigh. A transfer slip was something rare and precious that could save one's life at a critical moment. Deng Hui was unlucky. Even if he fought against a powerful lord, he could have escaped by using the transfer slip, but he had bumped into Jian Wushuang. 18 levels of hell that Jian Wushuang displayed could suppress Deng Hui's consciousness and even restricted transfer slip's effect, so Deng Hui ended up getting killed. Deng Hui said that the transfer slip was the most valuable treasure he got from exploring cave mansions, and no one could force him to use it. Actually, he gained more than one transfer slip, Jian Wushuang said and sneered. He understood that since it was a trump card for saving one's life, it was no wonder that Deng Hui lied and said he had only one transfer slip. I just spent some energy and 3 blood gems, but I received plenty of raw gems and countless treasures, including a heaven-breaking elixir and a transfer slip. I made a killing, Jian Wushuang said with a hint of excitement in his eyes. He really had earned a lot. What he gained was over 10 times what he used. It took Jian Wushuang quite a while to calm down. Then he looked around indifferently, noticing the shocked and terrified spectators, but he ignored them. After putting the blood puppet back into his interspatial ring, he rushed toward Jiaxia Cave Mansion. The fierce fighting around Jiaxia Cave Mansion had stopped. Both sides stood opposite each other in the air, waiting quietly. They were all waiting to learn about the outcome. A figure glided through the area and appeared in front of them. It was Jian Wushuang. Swordsman, Bone King, Xianxia, Beast, and the other comrades looked toward Jian Wushuang at the same time. Swordsman, where is Deng Hui? Bone King asked. Duoshin Marquis and the other experts of Pale Moon Marquis stared at Jian Wushuang. They had previously seen Jian Wushuang chasing Deng Hui, but now Jian Wushuang had come back without Deng Hui, which was not a good sign. Jian Wushuang coldly glanced at them, his cold voice reverberating throughout the area. From now on, Deng Hui no longer exists in the flaming battlefield. Then he turned over his hand and revealed a token. It was an ID token. However, it was different from an ordinary token. It was purple gold. In the flaming battlefield, experts at different levels would have different ID tokens. For example, an expert at stage 2 commonly had a silver token, while an expert at stage 3 held a gold one. Only heaven-defying level experts were qualified to have gold and purple tokens. Everyone present was clear about who had previously possessed this gold and purple token. Since Jian Wushuang held the ID token, it meant that its previous owner was. Is he dead? Deng Hui, a super expert at the heaven-defying level, was killed? A heaven-defying level expert is dead? Bone King, Xianxia, and Beast were stunned. The experts from Marquis Xianxia camp also widened their eyes. They had thought it was incredible when they saw Jian Wushuang chasing after Deng Hui. Now they had received the news that Deng Hui had been killed. He was a super expert at the heaven-defying level. In the whole flaming battlefield, many experts had died throughout its millennial history. Even some lords had been killed, but it was rare for a heaven-defying level expert to die. An expert from Marquis Piaoxua camp had been killed in the flaming battlefield, but it was a lord who killed him. Deng Hui was the second expert at heaven-defying level to be killed in its millennial history. Let's go! Duoshin Marquis shouted in a low voice. He looked at Jian Wushuang in terror and then led his people away. They knew that it was impossible for them to take back the Jiaxia Cave Mansion without Deng Hui. Jian Wushuang wore a faint smile while watching his opponents leave. He did not intend to go after them. Chapter 435, Famous for the Fight. Swordsman, Bone King, Xianxia, and Beast wore complicated expressions while standing in front of Jian Wushuang. When they met, Beast was somewhat disdainful of the young man, but now he was shocked by his strength. Swordsman killed Deng Hui, which means he could easily kill me if I were his opponent. Marquis Xianxia's people retreated. It's impossible for them to return in a short period of time, so we've basically acquired Jiaxia Cave Mansion. Let's see how the formation is going, Jian Wushuang said casually with a faint smile. Okay. Bone King, Xianxia, and Beast nodded, delighted in their heart. As of now, they had completely conquered Jiaxia Cave Mansion and finished their mission. At this moment, in the huge tent of Marquis Xianxia camp, 3 tall and bulky figures sat with an angry look. They were lords in charge of the camp business. In front of them, their experts stood respectfully in terror. No one spoke. The whole tent was filled with an oppressive silence. After a good while, a burly middle-aged man with purple hair, who sat on the middle throne, spoke. Deng Hui is dead. A man called Swordsman killed him. I've never heard of this swordsman before, and he isn't on the list of experts our camp needs to pay more attention to. But Deng Hue, a heaven-defying level expert, was killed by such a nobody. He even used a transfer slip, but still failed to escape. Who can tell me where Swordsman came from? The angry voice of the burly middle-aged man frightened his underlings. A green-robed elder stepped forward and said respectfully, "Lord, I've investigated his origin and know that he has recently arrived at the flaming battlefield. Over the past half a year, he became famous for his special realm technique in the inner area, but his own strength was not impressive. This time, when he followed Bone King to fight for control of Xianxia Cave Mansion, his strength improved greatly. According to Duoshin Marquis's report, Swordsman fought with 2 experts at the peak of Stage 3. He killed one of them and forced the other to escape with only 1 stroke. His battle strength has reached the heaven-defying level. Besides his own strength, he was able to kill Deng Hue because his puppet fighter, which is also at the heaven-defying level, helped him a lot. The puppet fighter was terrifying indeed. It was more powerful than Deng Hue in the offense, speed, and strength. With Swordsman's realm technique, Sir Deng Hue had no choice but to use the transfer slip. When Sir Deng Hue used the transfer slip, Swordsman displayed a special technique and caused Deng Hue to lose his consciousness for a second. At that moment, the puppet fighter took the chance to kill Deng Hue. Swordsman has awakened the Sword Soul, and his Sword Soul was a double first-grade Sword Soul. In a word, Swordsman is a peerless genius who has great potential. He must have made a major breakthrough in origin or other aspects, causing his strength to improve greatly. Though his present strength is only close to the heaven-defying level, he had various skills and trump cards. The green-robed elder clearly said everything he knew about Jian Wushuang. HMPH. The burly middle-aged man snorted and said, "I don't care what skills or trump cards he has. This time, we lost Xianxia Cave Mansion and Deng Hue was killed, both because of him. Xianxia Cave Mansion is very precious among the cave mansions under our control. It's just less important than 3 Marquis Cave Mansions. Deng Hue was one of our 3 experts at the heaven-defying level. As we all know, lords won't join fights in the flaming battlefield, which means that the heaven-defying level experts are our backbone. Now Deng Hue is dead. Our battle strength at the heaven-defying level is weaker now, so we might suffer some losses in important battles. Moreover, Swordsman has double first-grade sword souls, so he has great potential. If given several years, he will become one of our powerful enemies. We can't give him such an opportunity. Tell them all that Swordsman ranks first on the bounty list of our camp. Find an opportunity to kill him as soon as possible." The voice of the burly middle-aged man was extremely cold and his eyes were filled with killing intent. "Yes," said the green-robed elder. They quickly started discussing how to kill Jian Wushuang. At the same time, the news of Deng Hue being killed outside Xianxia Cave Mansion spread through the 2 camps at an amazing speed. After all, when Jian Wushuang chased after Deng Hue, they ran more than 5,000 kilometers and passed by lots of experts from both camps, so many experts witnessed Jian Wushuang kill Deng Hue. It was no wonder that the news spread so swiftly. It caused a sensation in both camps. Swordsman instantly became a new star in the flaming battlefield. Inside Xianxia Cave Mansion, it's done. As Lady Red set down the gems for the last formation, her eyes lit up. Behind her, Jian Wushuang, Bone King, Shuiyang, and Beast laughed. "Finally, we finished our task," Bone King said with a smile. "Ha ha, 10,000 battle achievements," Beast added, his eyes sparkling with joy. 10,000 battle achievement. It's a large amount for us. Of course, that could not be compared with what Swordsman received. Shuiyang looked at Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang smiled faintly. Indeed, he gained the most from this task. With the best move Xianxia left behind, he had comprehended the second move of heart-killing sword technique, which improved his strength greatly, allowing him to kill Deng Hue. He became famous for this fight and claimed Deng Hue's interspatial ring. Soon he would even receive 10,000 battle achievements. Other experts would be very envious of his gains. "Swordsman, I heard that our camp has a special reward for those who kill a top expert.